for the years ahead. Good luck.
So hello to, welcome to the first meeting room. My name is Pablo Gándara. I'm going to moderate this session dealing with the so-called ecological transition and the Green Deal development. And so if you are still in this room, but you would like to join another room, please take your time, click on the link over there and just move to the next rooms. The other ones are, as mentioned, session 2, which is moderated by my colleague from China, Wang Qian. And the other one is the session 3, dealing with innovation, which is moderated by my colleague Panagiotis Karamanos from India. So yeah, welcome. As you can see, we're here in Bangkok. It's actually my colleague Siriwat over there and myself. And are you okay? Yeah. You're over there, exactly. And we are in Bangkok. Greetings from Bangkok. This is our office. This is you can see here in Bangkok how the city looks like for the moment. It's, I think, into the late, so to say, afternoon. Very much forward to interacting with you for the next 50 minutes. So I will then, first of all, screen with regard to the way forward, so to say. As you can see over here, we have today. Filippo Gavasseni from Milan, Tetsuro Yoshida, Jostreng from Rotterdam, as well as Director Liu from Guangzhou, from GDD. Xiao Wu Hao, good afternoon to Guangzhou several times today. It's a great area. So I wanted basically to start with a very short overview about what we're doing in the area of ecological transition and green development. And I would, to each speaker, maybe 5 minutes time, 5 minutes speak up to explain a little bit what you're doing, what your plans are, and so on. So here we are. As we can see over here, we're dealing with this topic. The Green Deal. So if you're interested in going to mobility or to other topics, move to the next ones. In this thematic cluster, we identified specific priorities in the past few encounters. We launched some webinars that I will speak in a minute about that. But basically, we have seen that several cities are quite interested in working around the topics that you can see there on the right-hand side. So sustainable food systems, for example, Federico and Filippo will speak about that. Hydrogen technologies, our colleague from Kawasaki will speak about that. And generally speaking, yeah, the energy transition, as our colleague also from China will speak in a moment about. We have had several online exchanges, so-called webinars that you can see over here, which we have been trying to follow up, also straightforward with the cities, trying to gather exactly which would be their role. What do you expect from this kind of international exchanges? So to say, not the bilateral ones between city A and city B, but these thematic exchanges. So we have received here, for example, one proposal from Rome. This is just an example how a city fits back and says, okay, you know, I'm very interested, for example, in the development of greening industrial areas. So here it could be interesting to contribute by this or this means. So we are trying to follow up also this thematic cross-country level. And you can also access the information that has been produced and has been shared by the cities in our website. We have here the 2 webinars that have taken place in this area over the past 2 months. And we are going to have next Monday, actually, the 3rd webinar dealing with this thematic network. It says number 4 here because it's the 4th in total. We had a 3rd one dealing with mobility. That was 2 weeks ago, but that will be quite interesting, as you can see over there, with colleagues from Spain and Germany, from San Sebastián, Donostia, as well as from Hamburg, as well as from Japan. So please join these meetings. follow us and join us if possible. So having said this, I would like to give the word first of all to Filippo Gavesini from Milan City. Please, Filippo, share with us what you're doing in this area and how we can work with you.
Okay, please just confirm me when you see it.
We can see that now.
Okay, great. So we are very happy to join the IURC program, and what we would like to, let's say, to bring and to share it's our knowledge on transforming the food system. We have developed a good knowledge on this issue since 2015. We have established very structured food policy here in Milan with several action that are also, let's say, well recognized. But I will come back on this. And at the same time, the mayor of Milan promoted the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. That is a global platform of mayors that want to work together on the sustainability of the urban food system. The idea is to provide this platform with an holistic approach towards the food system. I have seen and I've heard also in the previous speech of Mr. Hall how let's say the pact and the framework of action that you can see here in this slide fit perfectly in the first pillar, because if you of URC, because if we are working, for example, on preventing food waste and on dealing, let's say, with organic waste in a circular economy way. We are working on healthy diet and nutrition, in particular for the fragile part of the population. We are working on developing sustainable food infrastructure, and we are promoting the urban-rural linkages on agricultural production. Just an overview of what the pact is and what we have been doing in this 5-6 years of activities. We have 217 cities in 6 regions, and in particular, we have let's say the European region that is the most active one, and also we have the Asia Pacific region. For the Asia Pacific region, we have also the cities of the Asia Pacific region elected 2 members of the steering committee that should develop, let's say, the regionalization strategy in Asia Pacific, that are the city of Bandung and the city of Seoul. I think that I should hurry up with my first presentation, so I just want to give you an overview of let's say the region of Europe. We are actively working with the Eurocities Working Group Food that we are chaired in order to work with the European Commission and to exchange good practices that cities are continuously every year submitting to the Milan Pact Award. The same here with Asia Pacific. We are focusing our attention on promoting the participation of our Pacific cities in order to work together to more sustainable urban food system. And we have seen that cities in this region are increasing their interest in urban food policy. And we think that cities, in particular in this region, needs to still develop to release their potential on food system. And just to conclude, I think that the Milan Pact with the Milan municipality together with IURC can release this potential based on the knowledge that we can share. I'm particularly happy to know that the colleagues of Bandung and the colleagues from Bangkok are here. We are looking forward to work with them, and we are also happy to share our approach towards the food waste reduction that has been recently awarded by the first Headshot Prize by the Royal Foundation. And also in 2018 with the Guangzhou Award, and I'm mentioning this because in the panel there are also the Guangzhou representatives. So just to conclude, we are very excited to start this pact together. I think we can share a lot of knowledge, and also we can acquire it from this region. Thank you very much, Paolo.
Thank you, Filippo. Grazie mille. Very interesting, indeed, very good initiative, bottom-up initiative from a city, already 6 years old and quite a good outreach in the region. So we're very happy to partner with you. I will skip the questions that I had just for the question and rounds answer afterwards. So I will go straight forward to the city of Kawasaki in Japan. I think Tetsuro Yoshida is joining us. So Tetsuro, are you there? Can you hear us well? Yes.
Yes, perfectly.
Super. Question,
Okay.
do you want me to share the screen, or would you like to share your own screen?
I think I can share it. Just hang on, please. Can you see it?
Super. Yes, we can. Sure.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone, and good evening to those who are in Japan and in Asia. Okay, my name is Tetsuro Yoshida, and I'm working for Kawasaki Environmental Research Institute. And okay, let me first explain what Kawasaki is all about. Probably Kawasaki is quite well known in Japan, but I don't think it's known worldwide. So Kawasaki is located next to Tokyo and next to Yokohama as well, basically in between these two very big cities of Japan. And it's quite famous for industries, but also it's got a lot of nature as well in the north. And so it's got quite diverse aspects. And Kawasaki, this is quite unfortunate, but it's in the past, so we are quite okay. But Kawasaki had been known as a very polluted city, and in the 60s, and it was really, air was polluted, water was polluted, and so on. But now it's quite we've overcome like serious environmental problems, and in the process we have accumulated environmental technology and expertise, and so we okay, this is just one example. We've got a lot of innovative companies as well, but this is just one example about hydrogen energy. And the one hotel just located next to our research institute, there was a hotel called Tokyo Ray Hotel, and it uses actually up to 30% of its energy from hydrogen. And this hydrogen is produced from the wasted plastics. So it's kind of circular. It's kind of like, plastic recycle. And okay, it's not perfect as yet, but it's quite significant that the hotel could use hydrogen energy for about 30% of its needs. So, and this technology is not only used in the hotel, but it's also used in the train station and so on. So I think this is just one example, but we could share like how technologies have been developed in Kawasaki City, and it could be probably something for EU peers to think about. And this slide is just to show our climate strategy. And I think it's everywhere similar, but we are striving to be carbon neutral by 2050. But we are not perfectly sure on about how we get there. So I think we try to move like consumer, try to change consumer behaviors, and also the company's behaviors, and also in terms of both supply and demand, we try to fill the market with the environmentally sound goods and services. But I think EU is much more advanced in terms of moving citizens, and also like democracy on the grassroots and so on. And we are trying to get there as well. And we have recently we had this like citizens climate conference, and come up with proposals like French did, and British did, and I think other Europe, I think the Spanish as well. And so I think we're trying to learn from EU peers about how to move people and how to move companies and so on. And yeah, I think that's that. And we haven't, Kawasaki is a newcomer to this program, and we're very happy to be part of it. But we've had only, I think, a couple of meetings with the Croatian counterparts, and we haven't narrowed it down yet. We of course generally agree that okay, we're going to cooperate in climate change and also nature-based solutions, which Kawasaki is not particularly, we don't particularly have expertise on. So I think it would be great if we could share our strengths and learn from each other. I think that's that from me. Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you, Tetsuro. Just in time, 5 minutes. Thank you very, very much. Very interesting. The pathway you described to get where you are now as a city. It's indeed a powerhouse, let's say, of environmental technologies and hydrogen technology in particular. But also very interesting what you referred to with regard to citizens engagement tools and so on. Just to let you know, for the others, indeed, I think 10 days ago, you had this first bilateral meeting with Croatian cities. I had the pleasure to join that conversation. So I saw basically that at the beginning, it's always a little bit difficult to identify which area you're going to work on and to really know each other because you haven't had the chance to be on the spot. So, for example, for you in Kawasaki, it's quite difficult to understand what is really in Zagreb and in Rijeka about, which is 2 cities you're working with in Croatia. So we hope to help you on this with some tools, and we will come back to that a little bit later. Now, let me go to our third speaker in a row. Now, this time we go back to Europe, so to say. And I see over there, Jos, in the city of Rotterdam. Jos, thank you very much for joining us. Could you please introduce yourself and then maybe share your screen if you like, or I think you're muted, Jos.
It's supposed to be automatic when I take down the mic. This is
oh, really?
Okay. Hello, thank you, Pablo. Good morning, good evening, or good part of the day, whichever applicable to everyone. Greetings from Rotterdam. I gladly introduce myself. Along with my colleague, Richard van der Wulp, who cannot participate, unfortunately, today. We have just entered the program, in an exchange program with Korea. Specifically, Busan is our match partner, but other cities are interesting for us as well, and it seems mutually. I'll get to that later. My work in the city is for the mobility department, then specifically in urban freight, city logistics. So that's, of course, a rather modest part of the transitions that we're looking at in terms of food and energy, but also mobility has its share to contribute to all the goals. And of course, there are some interesting links as well. For instance, if we look at the circular economy, this may entail a different way to deal with waste flows, perhaps to separate them more. This may also require more space and perhaps more specialized transport. This, of course, may have consequences for the way mobility is organized in the city. So this is has our lively interest, you could say. Another thing is that's perhaps also my, let's say, the special focal point in my work is on the use of development and use of simulation tools to develop and analyze policies to move towards more sustainable mobility system, transport system of goods in this case. So that's in general my introduction, I'd say.
Good. Okay. Do you want me also to share a few images from this?
If you can, please do. Yeah, that's
sure. Yes. So.
Okay, I have prepared 3 short slides to give you an update from the Rotterdam Front. As I said, we are rather new to the program, and so our ears and eyes are wide open, and we're very glad, of course, that we can participate in this kind of event and hopefully in future start contributing as well and establishing relations through the program or otherwise. The topics of our interest we have shared with in previous meetings already, and are also available in the shared document space of the program. I mentioned here. I already stressed the relevance of simulation tools for analysis of policy and then development of policies. Our hopes and expectations is, of course, to share ideas and expertise back and forth. So our ideas may be taken up by our partners, but the other way around, we may be inspired by our partners, hopefully in some sort of balance. And of course, discussion is always interesting if you are challenged by by the confrontation with another way of looking at things or approaching things. And of course, we're hoping to find out points of sufficient common interest to start a mutual activity, a project or initiative and research. And of course, we hope and we expect also that our language barrier, which is quite formidable, you could say, will not frustrate the ambition and the enthusiasm we have encountered so far. Next slide, please, Pablo. So which progress have we made? Now, we have had some introductory meetings. We're still in the process of getting, of narrowing down the focus to end up on more or less one-on-one contacts. This seems to be going to happen as soon as possible in the next year for Busan. That's our first order matching. But also from Sejong and Seoul, we received encouraging contact. So hopefully next month we'll have a video meeting with Sejong, and Seoul we're still awaiting a reaction. So I think it takes some patience, and I know that Pablo and his colleagues are really supporting the process on both sides to make sure that the communication is doesn't have any unnecessary delay. Okay, next slide, please, and the last one as well. So of course, we have some plans and expectations for the new year. And the first, of course, very important, I understand also for instance, traveling, so trips to be made either from Korea to here or the other way around. We need a safe and healthy situation. And then with relation to the program, we hope and trust that we'll be able to set up relations with 2 and perhaps even 3 cities. And of course, we think we will get to the point where we find a common interest, which will get us really going in setting up something and developing it. And well, as I said, we hope for balance in the relations we establish in the sense that there is back and forth. It's a 2-way street, so to speak. So we hope to inspire our partners and to be inspired by them, that there's sufficient balance to the knowledge part, the knowledge development part of the initiative and action, actual things we do with a visible result, which you can at least experience. And of course, also in the more general sense of the relationship, that we strike a balance between being serious and now and then having an opportunity to laugh about, things in general, to make it more, let's say, to take a bit distance and then get energy from that to get going again. So that was well, I have one final sheet to say, okay, our slogan is more or less Rotterdam, make it happen. And we're sure that this is going to be successful in the program as well for the next period. Thank you, everybody. If there's a question or suggestion, share it either in the chat or directly. That was my story.
Yes. Thank you, Jos. Very interesting. I think it's a very clear plan for the next steps, and also a good reflection about the first meeting we had. We launched a cooperation with Korea about 2 months ago, and we have been trying to establish, of course, some bilateral follow-ups. And here it is, I think, quite interesting that from the contents point of view, there is a very strong interest in Korea. I saw, for example, I remember one idea from Korea with regard to the drones technology for port surveillance or monitoring, if I got it right. And now we are trying to narrow that into very concrete conversations. And so looking forward to working on that. Now, let's keep the questions now for a moment, and let's go back to Asia, and we go to a very, very nice city, to Guangzhou. City I have the pleasure to be several times at, and to work with GDD, Guangzhou Development District. I'm very happy to welcome Director Mr. Liu for International Cooperation from the Development Commission in Guangzhou Development District. Mr. Liu, the floor is yours.
Director Pablo and distinguished guests. I'm Liu Jiangguang from Guangzhou Development Zone, and it's my great pleasure to be here to share with you our ecological transition and the green development. DDZ is situated in Guangzhou and is one of the first batch of national economic zones in China, focusing on improving the efficiency of energy and resources allocation. DDZ promotes ecological transitioning and green development and actively builds a model zone of green development. In recent years, we have been approved as the National Circular Economy Demonstration Pilot Zone, the National Ecological Civilization Construction Demonstration Zone, enlisted in the first batch of National Green Industry Demonstration Base, and for 4 consecutive years, we've been rated as the National Green Development Best Practice Zone. During the 13th five-year plan, the GDP of our region grew by an average of 7%, with a decrease of 20.02% of the intensity of energy consumption, and ecological transformation and green development made great progress. First, strengthen policy guidance and support the concentration of green industries. We will build a green development ecosystem from the perspectives of supporting circular economy, energy conservation, carbon reduction, green building, energy management, promotion, application of new and renewable energy sources, supporting key projects, and optimizing the environment for green industry, release of 10 provisions of energy, hydrogen energy version 2.0, and introduction of the 10 provisions of green finance, as well as the introduction of low carbon 16 provisions have been promulgated. Second, the implementation of dual control, total energy consumption and energy intensity to create a chain of circular economy. We will promote total energy management, scientific allocation, overall conservation, strategically implement the energy conservation review system, and reasonably curb the blind development of high energy consumption projects. And the third is to optimize the energy structure and build an efficient clean energy system. We will vigorously promote centralized heating, promote construction of distributed photovoltaics on rooftops, and continuously improve the proportion of clean energy in the energy mix, including centralized cooling stations, PV, charging piles, energy storage, smart street lamps, etc. And the fourth is to encourage green innovation, accelerate transformation of technological achievements through the combination of industry, science and research, as well as green finance. We hope that we can bring great success. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you very much, Mr. Liu. This was a very good overview, I think, about one of the powerhouses of South China, I have to say, in Guangdong province. And maybe we can start with the questions from now, straightforward. And so therefore, I would maybe start now with Mr. Liu, and then the question directly to you. You just mentioned that you will encourage enterprises to invest in green technology innovation to strengthen energy efficiency, and also to help them basically achieving efficient solutions on energy. How will you do that would be my question. Are you also helping them with some energy coaching services? Are you, will you monitor their energy performance through a kind of benchmarking from the GDD sector? That would be interesting to hear from your side. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So just now, I mentioned the policy guidance being very important. This May, we came up with the 16 provisions on low carbon development, which is trying to promote the initiative of the industry to adopt green and low carbon development, and to also promote alternatives to fossil fuels, being renewables for those enterprises. And we are also optimizing the structure of energy mix to promote the role and proportion of new energy and renewables, while also promoting the development of green service industry via building such industrial parks. We are also promoting the triple helix between public and the private sector and academia to promote commercialization of research results. And we are also working on the green finance front. We have actually implemented the very first discharge right of pollutants pledge bond, as well as the issuance of the very first carbon neutrality bond in the Greater Bay Area of China, so that we can fully tap into the financial instruments to make the market more balanced. According to the environmental protection law of China, we are attaching great importance to the monitoring, especially online monitoring of the energy consumption of energy consumers, especially energy intensive companies, so that our strategy can be fully implemented. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Liu. It's very interesting because I think that many cities also in Europe are facing similar challenges when working with companies. Maybe for the understanding of the participants here in this panel, the Guangzhou Development District is a huge area with several industrial parks in it, and large companies over there, also small and middle-sized companies, and it is always very interesting to see how they really can help them to get into green solutions. So thank you very much, Mr. Liu. Let's maybe go back now to the other colleagues, and maybe I would like to start with revising the chat. I'm having a look at my colleague here. Jo Siriwat, do we have any question from the chat that we should take up now? That's one question. There's one question from Ryoko Nakano. Ryoko, if you want, you can just put the question yourself if you want, or I can read it up if you want, as you like. Ryoko?
Yeah, sure. Pablo, it would be great if you could refer to it.
Sure. Very interesting. So, yeah, it's about Kawasaki, and it's a demonstration project on hydrogen backup energy in rail stations. So the question is whether this is visible to the general public, and if normal commuters are aware of this solution, of this pilot action we're doing there with hydrogen and railway. So please, Tetsuro.
Okay, I think it's open to public, or it's just there on the platform. So I mean, if you want, you can of course see it, but it's not really interesting to see because it's just like a big box kind of thing, and so yeah, but I don't think most of the commuters are aware of that, unfortunately. But it's there, so you can of course take a look anytime. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Thank you very much for the question, and I think for the answer as well. So let us go back maybe now to Europe. Let's start with Milan. Filippo, you mentioned the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact and the link, so to say, to climate, to lowering CO2 emissions due to through sustainable urban food systems. How have you been able to work with a city like Bandung that you were mentioning at the beginning, notwithstanding the COVID contingency? And how do you think that we will be able to help you in this?
Yeah, so thank you. We started, let's say, to work with Bandung as a, let's say, as an entry point also for Indonesia, thanks to their cooperation, as they are steering committee members. So they are also inviting other cities to join, and we have 4 cities, Indonesian cities, that are going to sign the pact very soon. So and this is great. Of course, this is important, generally speaking, in the pact network, because more cities of Asia Pacific join. The more is possible, let's say, to bring their voices in the community, but also represent their voices in the international processes, and advocating also for their priorities and the challenges in the towards our partner. We have many partners such as the WHO, the FAO, the World Food Program, and so on. About the future, as I mentioned at the beginning, we are very excited to work with you, because we think that together we can strengthen the momentum of working in urban food system, and we hope that in the near future we can organize, let's say, also say the first regional forum in Asia Pacific. That will be the, let's say, the ideal moment to let's say kick off the work that we are doing, and to involve, let's say, more cities, and also to spread the objective of and the priorities of the Green Deal, and from farm to fork. So we are very, very, very happy to start this work, and also to expand this work also to other countries in the Asia Pacific. So I think that the thematic cluster will be very interesting and very helpful for this. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Hopefully we can really contribute to this. Indeed, good idea of having this regional event. Now the next point, maybe there is a question there by Jos. This is, I think, maybe to the other speakers first, but also to the participants. So I will share the question. Jos, you're asking how basically do people in your cities, in other cities, engage with consumers, and with regard to logistics specifically. Which kind of methods do cities use for engaging citizens and consumers into logistics, right? Into sustainable logistics solutions? Do you have something specific in mind?
No, I was actually looking at, let's say, crossovers. So perhaps in another field other than, which is more or less, let's say, familiar to me. For instance, the food program. I would be interested to hear from Filippo if he knows from the pact and the program, the communication with other cities, how they apply methods to reach consumers and to help them, or to make them help achieve the goals in the field of sustainability in general.
Good. Yes, so I don't know, Felipe, if you want to answer that straightforward. Otherwise, you can just think about it.
You can also do this, of course, afterwards, or in a one-on-one. But it's just, I'm just expressing my general interest, the possibility to see how links could perhaps be established.
I think it is, of course, very valuable. I mean, if we have a look at here at Bangkok, for example, and the urban logistics and the implications on the food system, generally speaking, is something which is also very much dealt with. We have also have had some meetings with some NGOs here doing this or taking care of the logistics and urban food systems, basically trying to avoid unnecessary trips. And so it's, I think, a very interesting topic. Filippo, I would just ask you if you have an answer straightforward. Otherwise, I will go with another question to a colleague from China.
Well, generally speaking, thanks to the Milan Pact Awards, we are collecting the best practices from cities that join the pact from all over the world. And I'm sure, I mean, I know that there are different practices connected to awareness raising of citizens. I mean, to convince and to inform citizens to make, let's say, healthy choices, both for themselves and for the planet. So, for example, if a city is interested in this specific topic, the role of the Milan Pact Secretariat is to create a contact among, let's say, the city that is able to share this knowledge and the city that want to acquire this knowledge. Also, and I conclude, the city of Milan is leading a project, a DEAR project, the European Commission called Food Wave, that is also this aim of create awareness raising on healthy choice, both for the planet and for the people in the food system.
Thank you very much, Filippo. Thank you very much. I see that you also appreciate very much the answer. So let me go back to China, Guangzhou, GDD, Mr. Liu. Can you tell us a little bit with regards to the very interesting slide you shared with us about the investment you're doing on the mobility sector? I saw there the bus in the lane, and I can just share that, the image maybe to everyone. So just to remember, just give me 1 second, please. There is this very interesting image over there, you can see. With the hydrogen fuel cell, and also with the charging stations for e-vehicles. From the European perspective, so point of view, let's put it this way, from a consumer's perspective, it is quite tricky to have an electric car nowadays in Europe. I have actually an electric car in Germany, and I can tell you it's quite challenging to find charging stations. Which kind of specific, which kind of program are you rolling out in Guangzhou to promote the electric vehicles in particular?
In terms of increased penetration of EV electric vehicles in GDD, there are several things that we are looking at. We are focused on not just electric vehicles, but also hydrogen buses. We have been doing this for the past few years out of the reason for better environmental protection and emission reduction. So in terms of hydrogen vehicles, we have unveiled policies, and we also provide support to companies that manufacture hydrogen fueled public transportation. As for these hydrogen public vehicles, we are still trying to put together this ecosystem. And our plan is to enter into the is to produce 65,000 battery packs by the second half of 2022 to support hydrogen public transportation. So we have a policy package setting up a 5 billion hydrogen industrial fund. We are also rolling out 20 projects with hydrogen refueling stations, as well as a dedicated bus lane. Now, we are also investing in projects that include a catalyst, electrolyte, separator, hydrogen fuel, as well as battery. We are basically building the supply chain that covers all of the components. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Lee. Very interesting, quite impressive figure, 5 billion RMB. It's about, if I rightly have it in mind, more or less 800 million euros. Quite a high investment on the public side just to promote the hydrogen public vehicles, buses in this case. So I see another question over there from colleagues from Asia. During the COVID-19 pandemics, is there any trend or topics in the food policy? This is for you, I think, Filippo, that you have seen a lot of cities develop, and any possibilities for cross-country cooperation?
Yes, okay, thank you for the question. As we all know, mayors were at the forefront of providing immediate solution to citizen needs during the pandemic, and one of these immediate solution was to provide food that was, well, healthy food to the citizen. For this reason, we launched, let's say, an immediate during the very first day of the pandemic, an initiative that is called Milan Pack Talks. We have collected quite 100 videos from all over the world in which officers and mayors also talk about their food policy action to face the pandemic. 3 main trends that I can mention, and then I can put in the chat the link to the YouTube channel. So guaranteeing food access, so food aid to the citizens. That is something, of course, that is still going on now, and you can see in the videos many different models adopted. Then guaranteeing healthy diets, in particular for the vulnerable group, starting from, for example, children that due to the pandemic, for example, was not going to school, and so they couldn't access to the school canteens service. And the third one is supporting the food economy. So all the food policy implemented to support well, restaurants, markets, wholesale markets, and also farmers, urban and peri-urban farmers. I will write and of course this was the basis for an important cooperation among cities that can, in the very at the very beginning of the emergency, let's say, pick the food policy solution that other colleagues were implementing just some weeks before. I will write down the link. Thank you.
Good, thank you very much, Filippo, for this. Now maybe we have about 5 more minutes to go, so it's if any one of you has any question, just feel free also just to step in. For me, it's very difficult to see all the hands, so therefore, if someone has an urgent question, please take the floor. No problem. In the meantime, I will also ask maybe colleagues from the European Union who are here. I see in my screen, I don't see anyone, but I see Ronnie over there. I think Ramon Lopez also from DG Regios over there, probably also from the FBI. We have colleagues here. Based on your experience, for example, Ronnie, Ramon, if I think back a little bit about China, and I mean, back in a way that you have been participating, I think, in Guangzhou, at visiting GDD as well. Which kind of ideas come up to your mind now with regards to city-to-city cooperation? If I may just I don't know if Ramon or Ronnie are there. I think Ronnie Hall is not there. Ramon?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, sorry.
But I don't know that I can add a great deal to the excellent presentations that we've had in the course of this breakout session. A couple of things that seem to work well, shall we say, in particularly with reference to EU-China cooperation was the success in involving the university and academic sector. That seemed to bring some genuine added value to the cooperation. To have the injection of the of university professors, to have the possibility for exchanges of academics and students, and to promote joint training actions, summer schools, and matters of that nature. I also thought that in the experience with China under IUC, and of course, many of your countries, Pablo, in Asia, Australasia, are now new to IUC, IURC, so they do not have this history, but was also the success in many cases in involving the private sector and business. We cannot emphasize it enough that one of the key elements of IURC is to promote economic opportunity, business, eventually employment, and we would very much like to see that develop across the zone, the Asia-Australasia zone in IURC over the next 3 years. We had some notable successes with regard to promoting cooperation in innovative sectors such as the vehicle battery technologies and matters of that nature. We also had some success, I think, in relation to the cultural sector, which is one of the priorities of the EU's own urban agenda. And it's important to remember that when we think of the white heat of technology, many areas such as cultural heritage and similar matters are generators of economic opportunity and employment. So when we think about innovation, we're not thinking about people working with the latest digital technologies, although they may be involved, but in fact, many more traditional sectors are of value. And indeed, you've just been discussing a traditional sector that brings added value to the city in the form of the urban food cooperation. So that's all I would like to say. And once again, let me express my appreciation for the many contributions that we've had in the course of your breakout session, Pablo. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ronnie. Thank you very much. Yes, I also want to, of course, to thank the speakers for this very, very interesting insights, this interesting reflections. This brings us back a little bit the global challenge, the global dimension of urban development, of localizing good solutions in different areas. So very interesting. Maybe I will just give a last round of questions here to the speakers, or a last, basically a minute, if you would like to make a final statement from your side. I think Jos, you had a question. I think maybe if you like, you can put it together as a statement, and then we go to the next speakers.
Yes, well, actually, there are two things. I have one question, which is to Gansu, but actually to all cities probably involved. As we see, and actually we also from Rotterdam, we promote the use and therefore also the production of electric vehicles for personal passenger movement, also for freight transport. And this, of course, will or this may at least ultimately lead to depletion of scarce components. So from that point of view, it would be wise to already anticipate and develop some sort of circularity policy specifically for this field. As we know we are promoting this production, we should already start thinking about recycling, especially the batteries, I think, are something I hear. So this would be an interesting thing to exchange experience about. And one last thing in this general roundup would be, for me, an additional argument in favor of the program. Last week I had a meeting, or we had a meeting in the municipality about inclusivity and diversity. And it turned out it's very important that we keep our ability to displace yourself in another person. And I think the confrontation with other cities, and not very similar to your own, really helps to promote this ability. And I think we're going to need this to solve problems at all levels, both at local and even interpersonal level, up to the international policy arena. So I think this is really a good additional reason to actively participate in this program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jos. Yes, and we indeed try to make something concrete out of it by launching this so-called joint thematic actions as I just showed you in the representation at the beginning, trying to identify, okay, who can work on what together here. As I mentioned, be it a public campaign, be it a research project, or different areas. Let me just go back to Mr. Liu in Guangzhou, GDD. Mr. Liu, would you like to make a final reflection from your side, comment from your side?
So DDZ has been having in-depth exchange with multiple regions and cities in EU and getting great results. We'd like to thank the organizer for building such a platform where we get to have conversations and exchange with different countries, different regions, to maybe share some great experience with each other. Also, best practice at DDZ, we stand ready to welcome other countries and regions to come to us and to exchange with us so that we can share best practice. Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Liu. I can just encourage anyone to go to Guangzhou to see it. It's incredible, the developments over there. I just think back about the biotechnology island or many other interesting developments there. So we will work on that. Now, bring Japan, Mr. Yoshida, maybe your final from your point of view.
Okay, thank you, Pablo. Yeah, I think thank you very much for organizing this. This is very useful, and I think that not only Kawasaki, but I think also other Japanese municipalities, we tend to be kind of inward looking. We are not, you know, we feel that, okay, we are busy already taking care of our citizens and we don't have much time to look at like foreign cities and so on. But I think we have a great deal to learn from, you know, foreign experiences. And so I think, yeah, I think it's a really good opportunity for us to be engaged in this kind of platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tetsuro, very much. And we look forward to trying to bring let's say the cities a bit closer, maybe through digital tools. We're trying to find out whether whether we find some. Last, of course, but not by no means least, Filippo, your last question.
Yeah, mi senti? Can you hear me? Because I see free.
Yes.
Okay. So just a final statement in a tweet. I think that working on food policy is an entry point to face many urban challenges of growing cities. So from protecting the environment to guaranteeing healthy meals for the fragile part of the population, to sustain economic development. So we are very happy to share all the good practices that we have acquired, starting from the one from Milan, but also from the other part of the community, to sustain the development of food policies in Asia Pacific, and we are looking forward to it. Thanks for your fundamental cooperation in this.
So thank you very much. I would like maybe to now close the floor. If I don't see any other questions, I cannot see everyone here, but again, if someone has a burning question, please take the floor. That's no problem. We're just a little bit ahead of or behind schedule, but it's about 12:07 in Central Europe. It's about 18:07 here in Bangkok. And a few hours later, actually, we have a colleague even from New Zealand joining us. It's very, very late there. So having said this, I would like to say thank you very much. Our plan for next year is to try really to implement the study visits. This will depend, of course, on the COVID contingency, it's clear, but I can tell you that we are already planning, for example, the very first mission of Marino Cavallo, who is now in this floor here from Bologna, to Melaka in Malaysia, already in February, mid-February. So, you know, things, and we're going to see, we're working with the cities, with the public authorities to try to get special permissions here, of course, everything within with the health sanitary conditions needed. So I think I am done from my side. I don't know, Joe, City, what I'm looking at you. Do I have to say anything else? No. So Ronnie already closed the floor. I don't know if there are any other.
Pablo, yeah.
Yes, Sandra.
Yes.
Go ahead. Thank you.
This is Arianna. So I am having some problems with my camera at the moment. But basically, I would like to ask, so the people from the third room, room 3, have come back here in the main room for the closing. So I would ask Panagiotis to start with you, if you can give a short summary of what the discussion was in your room. Then I will ask you, Pablo, just for the participants that came back from room 3, and room 2 will join us soon. So if you can keep it to 2 minutes, 3 max, so that we can finish more or less on time. Thank you, Panagiotis.
Thank you very much, Arianna. I'll keep it very short. We had a great panel representation from Bologna, from Haiku, from Sofia, and from Gwalior in India. We touched upon many things, just a couple of highlights regarding the importance of greening the city, and also, if possible, combining that with cultural elements, either that is music or heritage preservation. The importance also of improving local air quality, a big challenge for many cities across the world, but also implementing innovativeness and digitalization in many fronts, including COVID-19 related activities. Some of the key takeaways is the importance of participation from the key stakeholders in all the cities, the importance of increasing awareness and providing some form of education on these topics, breaking the digital divide, which may be related to some citizens that may not have access or may not be familiar with digital tools, and providing a balanced approach in mixing green areas in the city and urban areas. The key message, I would say, from our session, which was very interactive, including a lot of questions from the audience, was that we should be and we can be smart and green. Thank you very much from breakout room 3 and from all the attendees and panelists.
Thanks a lot, Panagiotis. Great. So many interesting topics there. Looking forward to see the recording. Pablo, I give the floor to you. Can you also summarize shortly the discussion in room 1?
Yes, very diverse experiences from China, from Guangzhou. Guangzhou Development District, a powerhouse in South China, dealing a lot with electric mobility, with circular economy solutions, basically with new policies launched by the city government, also to encourage companies to get the energy transition done. Then also good discussion with colleagues from Rotterdam about mobility, but also logistics, and generally speaking, also the importance of identifying the proper topic with the counterpart. In the case of Rotterdam, it's also kind of open cooperation, working mainly with Busan, a big port, of course, in Korea, as we all know, but also with other cities in Korea, including Seoul and Gwangju, and Sejong, sorry. And then Milan, good discussion about urban food. Milan is quite focused now in the IURC participation with Asia on trying to bring more cities into the pact and to get sustainable solutions for food systems. And then from Kawasaki, of course, we had a very good overview from Tsuro with regard to hydrogen technology, but also to other, generally speaking, the technological progress over there, and the interest in working on technology exchange with Europe. Citizens engagement also is one of the important perspectives. Now, yeah, that's from my side, and I think from China we're going now to panel 3, right? To panel 2, correct?
Yes,
Wenqian?
correct. And I think that Tian just joined us. So Tian, are you there? They were closing up the session. Tian, is that you? Yes, great.
Yes. Sorry, we
Running from one room to another. Thanks a lot, Tian.
because we are pitfully we are like, we have a lot of questions from the audience, and
that's never repeated. Yeah. That's always good. So
yeah.
Tian, if you can sum it up, 2-3 minutes max. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So in room 2, we have 5 speakers, 2 from the European Palacities region, and 1 from China, and 2 from Vietnam. So we discussed about, for example, the key concept for urban regeneration projects, a reference, healthy, productive, dynamic, and diverse from the Phil Lambrada, and also how to develop innovation ecosystem which can engage relevant stakeholders and call for the open collaboration in Ljubljana from Slovenia. And from China, Liuzhou, we heard about the very interesting concept of the 15 minutes life circle created by the Liuzhou city together with citizen participation to create a better place for people to live. And from that city, Vietnam, which is also a very interesting tourism city who has more tourists than the local population. They introduced how they address the increase in demand of the tourists by upgrading the infrastructure, make a friendly, environment friendly and people friendly one by special paths, special edges, function districts, traffic node styled landmark. And from another Vietnam city, Ha Tinh City, they also address the challenging during they faced during the digital and smart transition, how they complete the urban structure and regenerate the landmarks and move the city adaptive to climate change. So we heard a lot of quite interesting best practices, and what we found most interesting that is all the city speakers, region speakers, they all mentioned the important role to involve and engage different kind of stakeholders. So that we found that going to be one of the key points to make the possibility of the success of the cooperation, not only regarding to the city itself, but also it is the key point to the cooperation between the EU cities and regions and the non-EU cities and region, which is also one of the approach of the IUC project. Yeah, this is basic from me. Back to you, and thank you.
Just a short comment, Ariana. The Vietnamese interpreter is writing here
Yes.
that we have some problems with the interpretation tool. Maybe.
Yes, Ivana, can you please make Jin host and Jin will re-add the Vietnamese interpreter.
Thank you. By the way, best regards also to the colleagues in Vietnam, Talat and Ha Tinh City have been very active now in the exchange. And also best regards also to the colleagues in Vieux Châu City over there, Mr. Deputy Mayor Cui. Nice to see you again. So anyway, that was just a personal matter. Sorry.
Thank you, Pablo. I believe Jin is host now. So Jin, you can re-add the Vietnamese interpreter, please. And I would then give the floor to Sandra for some closing remarks. And thanks, everyone. It was a great conference and a pleasure to being with you in these days.
Thank you very much. I think we have also Ronald Holt still here. So after my words, I will invite him maybe to close in the name of the Commission. Thank you very much, Ariana, because you have been the soul of this event, always behind the scene, even at the last moment because your camera didn't work. But thank you very much for your work. Thank you all for participating here, especially also all our teams in China and in Asia and Australasia for all the support in this event. I really hope that the next one will be in Brussels and we will be able to meet all face to face. In the meantime, I encourage you to keep being in touch online because the best is yet to come, and we hope it will be study visits next year. So thank you very much to all of you. Everything from this event, recording, presentations, summaries, everything will be available on our website. So keep an eye on that in a few days. And that's all from the Central Coordination Unipart. Ronald, if you are still there, please, would you like to do some final remarks in the name of the Commission?
I can have a go. Huh?
All right.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Well, I can only add to what you have said. We are delighted to have so much participation in this event, and as well as the old friends such as China, Japan, India. We're very happy to see all of the other countries from Southeast Asia, Australasia, participating in this event for the first time as fully paid up members of the International Urban and Regional Cooperation Program. I would also like to thank the organizers of this event, Sandra and the team, which I notice suffers very badly from poor gender balance because it's all women. But that's very progressive in the 21st century. So IURC is already, as it were, leading to social progress. Thanks to all of the teams in Japan, India, Southeast Asia, Australasia, and of course China. And well, I sincerely hope that this is the last time that we will have an online global event for IURC, and that in 12 months' time or thereabouts, we will get the opportunity for face-to-face contact. But in the meantime, I am very grateful for your forbearance and tolerance in working in this manner. It, in my view, it gets better and better as the technology improves, and we seem to not lose a great deal through working on video conference. But it also requires the backup team to master the technology and make the event work successfully and without a hitch. And for that, I'm also very grateful. So from the European Commission, from a very grey day in Brussels, I wish you all the best. Good afternoon, and well, I suppose it's good night actually for a lot of you at this stage, and hope to see you soon.
One final remarks now that my camera works. Thanks, everyone. And if you want, there is still the exhibition in the Hopin platform that is on and available. So I will put the link in the chat. And if you want to have a look at the booths of the various geographical areas, you can connect to the Hopin platform where you previously registered and enjoy the exposition, the virtual exposition. So with that, I think we can close, right, Sandra?
Ariana, can I ask a question? So where can we find the presentations for all the speakers today? Will that be uploaded in the website as well?
It will be uploaded. We will publish an article next week, and we will upload all the recordings and all the presentations.